Hi everyone, it is time for the monthly InDesign tech tutorial. So because I was going to make these as a bonus inside Planner Academy, but I've decided to push off that launch just because that product is so expensive. It just doesn't feel right now with everything going on. So I will just be doing them for free for the foreseeable future. So I hope everyone is having a great start to their week. I know it's already Tuesday, although when I wake up, sometimes I'm just not even sure what day it is. So I don't know if you're the same. There is a workbook below me that you can download. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link will redirect you to Crowdcast because that's where the link is. So let me go ahead and actually start. I didn't even start InDesign. Let me start InDesign because that will help. So if you have the workbook, we're just going to follow along with all of the questions. And today we're going to cover two things. The first half, we're just going to cover InDesign Workspace, how to set that up and customize it. And I know there's a lot of videos that are like so boring. So I'm not going to go through every single item in preferences because quite honestly, you don't need them. So I'm just going to go over the ones that I change and how I change them and what I do and what I think will be helpful for you when you're doing yours. So let's go ahead, and it will probably be helpful if I share my screen with you. So I'm going to share the whole screen so that you can just see everything. Okay, so this is Adobe InDesign. So I just literally just opened up the application while we were sitting here, and let me just move it so it is to the top. There we go. So over here, let me just pull this down. It's hard to see. Okay. So over here, you're going to see all of the files that you recently opened. Now, if you want to see these in, let's say, a different format, over here, it sorts them by recent, and that's the default, but you can sort them by name, and then it will do it in alphabetical order. You can sort it by size. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. And then you can also sort it by kind, which honestly, I guess that's IDML versus INDD versus whatever. But recent is like the most useful to me. Also, if you go up here to File, Open Recent, and you'll see a list of all of the different files that you see down here as well. So two different ways to get to the same area. And this is just kind of like your landing page when you get here. Hopefully you guys all know over here you have two options. This is your home page. Like this is what InDesign calls your home. And over here is what's called the Learn. And this is just all of their tutorials, which they actually have in here for free because they want to help you to learn Adobe InDesign. And remember, this is only if you have the latest Creative Cloud. If you have an older version, you know, the ones that you have to load with the CD-ROM, they do not have that feature. So none of this would apply to any older versions of Adobe InDesign. All right, so let's just start with the first one. What is your workspace? Super easy. Let's just go ahead and create a new file. It doesn't even matter what size it is. We just need something open so we can get inside of the tools. So over here, when you go to the top, everything you see right here, all of these tools on the top, all of these panels, this is your workspace. Basically what you see right when you open it. Now, over here, when you go to the top and you go to Window and you go to Workspace, you're going to see a few different options. So if you go to, let's say, Essentials, which is pretty much the answer for the second one, the best default for me is always Essentials. That's pretty much where I see everything that I need to see, which is what you see right here. You can play around with it. You could go to Digital Publishing. You get a bunch of different options over here on the right. You could check out Interactive for PDF. And this is really for someone who's creating, in my opinion, one of the interactive coloring books for children. Or if you're trying to make your Adobe InDesign file more like a a website when you're done, which again, I think is best for children. I feel like having too many links inside a document, you might as well have just made a web page. Like, what's the point of making a document? Here's printing and proofreading. Honestly, I've never used it. It sounds like it would be something useful for planners, but I think it's probably more useful if you are doing magazine or you're a book publisher. And over here is typography. So, test these out, see kind of what you like. What you can do, so number 3, how can you save a new workspace? This is actually really easy. All you have to do is go to Window, Workspace, and you can say New Workspace, or you can delete a workspace. So up here where it says Lisa, that is my workspace. That's the one that I've created just for myself. Now, if I want to say New Workspace, I can name it anything I want. So Lisa space number 2. And it will capture all of these panels, and it will capture all the menu customizations. And I'll say, okay. And then this way, when I close this, and let's say I open up I create a new document. Again, it doesn't even matter what size it is. We're just going to go ahead and say create. And let's say I can change. So it's defaulted to typography. We'll change it to book. But instead of resetting everything, I could just go over here to Workspace and I could say Workspace Lisa 2, and it's all set up for me again. So really easy way for you to just sort of differentiate your workspace and make it so that you don't have to keep saving all those panels and those things to the side. So what panels am I talking about? So if you go over here to Window, like I frequently use the paragraph styles panel. So if I wanted to, I could just kind of add it over here, and now it's part of that panel. So if I went to create a window, to Window Workspace and create a new workspace, then I could go ahead and save that again as my new workspace. Or if I don't like it, I could just come over here and I could delete it. So I could say Lisa Workspace 2, I'm just going to delete it, forget all about it. So either way. All right, so let's flip over to the next page, which is what's important in preferences. So again, like I mentioned, there's a gazillion things up here when you go to InDesign and you go to preferences. There's a ton of different preferences that you can set. So I'm going to show you the ones that I set that I think are kind of important, are basically just the ones that you really care about. So it doesn't matter which one you select from that menu of InDesign Preferences. Whichever one you select will bring up this dialog box you see here where it says General. And can you see? I'm making sure. I think you can see my screen. I can't really tell because of the way that YouTube is set up. So let's go ahead and go to here. I meant to bring a second computer and I didn't. All right. Okay, so it looks like you can see everything. All right, great. So over here, back on InDesign, so over for preferences, where it says general, so remember at the very beginning where I said home screen and I showed you where all of your documents were? This is it, show home screen when no documents are open. So if I uncheck this, which I never want to do, but if I do that and I close this, all of a sudden, there's nothing in there. It's just blank. And that's because I've changed the preferences so that it doesn't show anything there. But I do want it to show it. So I'm going to go ahead and select that back. That's probably the most important thing inside preferences. Now, when you go down here, there's a bunch of different things that you can select. I honestly leave all of them 100% defaulted to what they are. The only one that I change, I'm going to show you in a minute, is for, what do you call it, is for the digital files. That's it. That otherwise, the dictionary and spell check, I think hopefully you guys all know, spell check inside of Adobe InDesign is just atrocious. It is not like what you see in Microsoft Word. It is 100% not what you get in Grammarly. You're lucky if you catch any spelling errors. That's why I always say if you can, try to create all of your content inside Google Docs. And then if you have the Grammarly extension, it will just do the spell check for you, or do it inside Microsoft Word, because they have much more robust spell check grammar abilities, even though this looks like it would, it's just awful. So again, all of these, just leave it as is. I don't think you need any of them. So how do I change the entire application background? So that is actually in here. So under general, if you go to preferences, so you can see I've selected black. I could select dark gray. I could select a light gray, or I could select a white. Now, over here, this button, match pasteboard to color theme, this will match it so that this way, anything that shows up in the background will be the same. Whatever color scheme you've chosen will be the same. So let's open an actual file. Let's open the wedding planner. All right, so here's my wedding planner file right here. It's kind of small. Let me try to center it for you. And then if I go back over here to preferences and I go into interface, and you can see once I change this background, this is going to all change as well. So that kind of gives you a better sense of like what is and isn't changing. It's really odd. I like everything white, but for some reason when I'm in Adobe applications, I like everything dark. So I can definitely see a separation between my document and the workspace that I'm working in. But again, this is personal preference. It makes no difference to your file or the performance or anything else. And then number 6, what's important for digital planner preferences? All right, so if we go right back over here to general and we see where it says page numbering. So absolute page numbering, I believe, is the default. And that just means no matter what the pages are in your document, it will number them sequentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, which 99.9% of the time is what you want. The only time you don't want that is when you're using a digital planner. So for that, I always switch this over to section numbering and say, okay, and then you're all set. So let me know if you have any questions, because that's pretty much it for our tech tutorial. These are meant to be quick and easy, not like overwhelming, makes you want to cry, makes you say, like, sometimes when I do some of the InDesign lessons that other people have, I watch a few minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to store this away until I have like 5 hours to sit down and really understand it. And I never have 5 hours to sit down and understand it. So let me know if you have questions. I guess I will check to see if you guys have any questions over here. Nope, because I'm so great at explaining it. Everything is super easy. All right, I do want to make a note too that the InDesign file for today is on sale. So inside of your, what did you do? I gave you the file, the PDF. So inside that workbook for today, there's a link inside of here. Right here. So the digital wedding planner, if you missed the sale that happened, I believe like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, because I was late, it was like a week, for the wedding digital planner, you can still get it for this special discounted price of 50% off. So you just need to use the code webinar50, or if you just click this link right here, it will take you, it will automatically put the discount code in for you. And that is on sale for 50% off all of today. So you're going to get the entire file, which I will show you right now, and I'm going to show you how to customize that. So let's go ahead and go back into Adobe InDesign. So this is our file over here. I like to, I can't see pages. Pages, hold on. If you were the pages. There we go. All right, so over here inside of pages, let's go all the way to the top. And what was the first question? Okay, how do you change the purple wood background? So there were 5 different colors for the wedding planner. I just chose purple as the one to create a digital planner. If you bought the original just pop-up shop for the wedding planner, you have all of the colors, you have all of the files, you could recreate this entire thing on your own. So here's what you need to do. You need to go over here to master pages to cover. And this is where you can change that purple wood background. You can replace it with a marble. All you have to do is find the new file that you want and use file place. So let's say I want to go ahead and replace this with something else, like so many files, a different background. So let's say I'm going to use a glitter background. Do I have purple glitter? I do have purple glitter. So we're going to open this up. And now I have a purple glitter background. Now you'll notice up here at the top, the opacity is 54%. Maybe I just want it to be really bright. I can change it to 95%. So remember, when you file place, like replace an object with something else, it will take over the opacity that was there before. So if I go back to my cover, now it has a nice purple glittery background instead of the purple wood. Obviously, you can use purple marble or anything else. Same thing with the other pages. So on these master pages, you'll just have to go into each one, select that wood background, do a file place, and then just replace it with whatever it is that you want to replace for each of them. But you're going to have to do that for all of these different master pages up here at the top. All right, so that's the first question. How do you change the tab text? All right, so the next part is inside of each of these files, or inside of each of these master pages is the tabs. Now, let's say I want to change, instead of home, I want to call it something like cover. I don't know, maybe it just sounds more intuitive to me, or that's how my files are set up, and that's what I usually do. So that's all I have to do. However, just like the wooden background, you're going to have to go into each of these and change this to cover. So you'll just keep going through all of these and changing them to cover. Whoops, the home page moved over here. And that's it. So if I open up, let's say this one, because we changed it, it now says cover instead of home. Over here, same thing, it says cover instead of home. But if I scroll down to, let's say this one, I haven't changed the master page yet, and that's why it still says home instead of cover. So just make sure if you make a change to any of the text, the tabs, then you need to make sure you change it throughout. All right, how do you edit the images? So really easy. Let's go to any image. So let's go to page 2. So this image, if you recall, I'm not able to sell the Adobe, what am I trying to say? I'm not able to sell the planner files with the Adobe stock images. So because of that, if you want to replace this, what I always tell people is to go ahead and just look, two things. One, you can just find the exact same page that I used, or what you can do instead is you can go to Adobe stock and you can type in the keyword weddings, and you can pick another vertical file that looks, not vertical, horizontal file that looks like that. So it's the same dimensions. So let's say I'm just going to download the preview of this because I don't want to buy it. And that's also a good way just to test things out. You can come over here into InDesign and you can do file and you can do place with that thing that you just downloaded. There we go. And so now you can test it out. And that's all you have to do, again, to change any of the images that are inside of there. And I even put down in the workbook some of the keywords I used, which were just wedding and bride. So nothing really fancy. All right, so how do you add pages? So to add pages, now this is really, you want to pay attention to this because the pages that you add, remember, correspond to two things. They correspond to the master page, and it will also ruin your links if you don't add them correctly. So if you want to add pages anywhere, it doesn't matter where. Let's say I want to add it to the budget section. Now the budget section is number 3.1, and then 3.2, 3.3, and then 3.4, and 3.5. So the 3 is the section number, and the number after the dot is the page number. Now over here, we have a new section, and that's why it's called 4. So if I add a page after 4 and call it 4.2 or 4.3, it will be in the 4th section, not in the 3rd section. So I would go to wherever I want to add the page afterwards. I would right click and say insert page. Now it's going to ask me how many pages I want to insert. So let's say I want to take 5 new pages inside of this budget section. I want it to be after this page that I'm currently on, which is page 3.5 that you can see right here at the bottom. And I want it to use the master 3D budget dots because that's the master page I want to use. And I'm just going to say, okay. And so now I have 3 new pages. They're blank. They look just like the master. And then I can go ahead and I can add in whatever I want into those pages. Excuse me. All right, so number 5, how do you delete pages? So let's go ahead and delete those pages we just added. So really easy. All you have to do is take a page, if you want to delete a single page, drag and drop it over to that trash can. That's it. If you want to delete multiple pages, you just hold the shift key and then that will select all of those pages and then drag and drop them over there. No big deal. All right, how do you save your custom file? All right, so let's say I made a bunch of changes, not just that one. In order to save this file, I would simply go to File, and I would go to Export, because remember, it is not the same as a printable file or something you're going to send to a printer to have professionally made. This is a digital file, so let's go to Desktop. And over here, I can name this file whatever I want, trial. And then for format, just make sure you choose Adobe PDF Interactive, save your file, and you're done. So that was it. How easy was that? I think last time I did this workshop, it took me an hour. I think I over-explain things sometimes. Plus, I'm just really chatty. So let me know if you have any questions. And if you don't, I did get a couple questions emailed to me today and yesterday about digital planners that I will answer for you guys live. Oh, we do have a question. Ebony, did you show how to provide a separation in planner cover? Not yet. That is the question that I'm getting to next. So, all right. So Ebony's question, and let me just bring up her email to make sure I got it correctly. Okay, Ebony's question was, I can't seem to find how to make it look like there's a space between the planner covers between the spiral rings. I don't remember seeing it in the course. I provided photos, which are to the portion of the course. Okay, so to provide those spaces that you see right here between those pages is really easy. You just move them to the side. So let's go ahead and start with a new document. So, or let's do a new file. Okay. So file, new document. Inches. So we'll make this 11 inches across, 8.5 inches wide. So we have more of a landscape, which is what we're trying to do. And then over here, let me make this smaller so you can see it. So let's go ahead and place a background here so that you can see some differentiation between the, where was I, backgrounds. We'll do that same purple glitter. Oh, this is a pink glitter. Oops. Let's do another background. Just because I want you to be able to see the difference between the two. Here's a teal color. Okay. So there we go. All right, so this is just a background. It has nothing to do with the pages. So if I'm going to make a page inside of here, I'm going to go over here to the rectangle tool, and I am going to try to make a page over here. I'm going to make this page white. There we go. Over here, I'm going to make sure it's about halfway. And then I'm just going to copy it and paste it over here. So now there's kind of a separation between those two pages. And all I'm going to do is file place inside of here one of those coils. So if I go into the wedding planner and I go to the digital planner and I go to links. I should have my coil. No, that's the coil for the back. I have my coil somewhere here. It's a single spine. Where's the coil? Hold on. I know the coils inside the fitness planner and what it's called. Planner. Oops. There we go. All right, let's try to take this one and, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm going to drag and drop this over here, and I'm going to just space this coil out so it's about right there. So obviously these are too far, so I'm going to move this white paper over to the left. I'm going to move that right paper to the left, and I'm going to move the left paper over to the right. And that's all I had to do to create some space in between. I know this is a weird color. Maybe it would be better if this was opaque. I hope you get the idea. But basically, that's all you have to do. Because remember, everything's faux. Everything's kind of fake, right? There's not a real coil there. That's a fake, just make-believe coil. And the pages also are fake. So that's all you have to do is 2 squares, make 2 pages, and then there's a line in the middle. So really easy. I hope that answered your question. If not, just let me know, Ebony, if that didn't answer your question. Somebody else emailed me another question. Serena. Okay. Serena, I watched your video about creating a digital planner template. I created a digital planner on InDesign, but I don't know how to actually sell the template on Etsy. I was hoping the video taught me how to do so, but looks like I actually need to purchase the course, and it's an older version. I have an older version of the course. I don't know. Serena, I would love to help you. I'm not sure what you mean. The course was just created in December of 2019. So yes, I guess it's 3 months old. So if that course is too old for you, I don't know, unless you're saying you have an older version of Adobe InDesign. So I know how to design and upload interactive PDFs to Etsy. Great, to sell as a printable, but what I'm trying to do is create those templates for people who want to download on their iPad. Are you creating those templates on InDesign if people just download an interactive PDF and open it via GoodNotes, Keynotes, Procreate, or is there a specific process to make those files downloadable for those apps? If so, what is the course going to cover? As I am not interested in how to create InDesign templates, I already know how to do it. Okay, so to download, all you have to do is what I showed you in today's video. When you're done with your file, like if I wanted to make this an interactive PDF, all I have to do is do File, Save As, and make sure that, whoops, just kidding, not File, Save As, File, Export. And then over here, I'm just going to make sure that I file export and I choose the format Adobe PDF Interactive. And that's it. That's all you have to do to sell it on GoodNotes. So you don't have to buy the course. That was the answer. Hopefully that helped. But, you know, I think where Serena's question comes from, just so you know, it's not a dumb question. In the older version of GoodNotes, so GoodNotes 5 right now can take any PDF that has interactive links in it, and it's usable as a digital file. If you have GoodNotes 4 or older, or you have customers that have it, it will not work. I should say it will not. It might work. It might not work. So in the older ones, you had to open up the file inside of GoodNotes and then resave it out to make sure all the links. It was like a really laborious, complicated process. But now with GoodNotes 5, the links just work. So anybody can do it. As far as the only question you had, Serena, about Keynote, digital file planner files, I've never tried opening them in Keynote. I would imagine, I have no idea if they would work in Keynote. I know some people create them in Keynote. I'm not sure if that was your question, but I've never used a digital planner inside of Keynote specifically, so I have no idea. Does anybody else have any questions that I can help answer? Elise, when is the wedding design course launching? Probably not until June. I have a book deadline that I am trying to meet. So that book deadline is June 10th, and then the book comes out July 10th. So I will not be working on any new courses really per se, probably until June, just because the book is going to take up so much time. Anybody else? Oh, the only other announcement I have is inside of there. So this time, no, not this time, next week. We go back to Mondays next week. So on Monday, April 20th at 10 a.m., we're going to do a business coaching call. So I have a lot of really great notes on COVID that I've taken for you, on business continuity insurance, business interruption insurance, and other things that you could do to save-proof yourself or ways to save money right now. And then also on April 27th, we're launching the new budget planner. Now, the Wednesday before that, on April 22nd, I will open up voting for what the May planner will be. I used to open it up. I shouldn't say used to. I opened it up last month for the whole month. It was just too long. So I'll open it up on the 22nd, and then it'll close on the 26th. And then on the 27th, when we launch the budget planner, I'll announce what new planner won for May. So then you know what new template is coming up. Anybody have any other questions? Let me check YouTube. I always forget to check YouTube. No questions on YouTube. Real Financial Guide said hi. Awesome. Hi. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Don't forget, the discount code is right here. It's webinar50. If you want to buy the digital planner version of the wedding planner that we just went through today, that is on sale today until midnight for 50% off. And yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I will see you guys. I have videos scheduled for the rest of the month, and I will see you guys live again next Monday on the 20th. All right. Bye.